I now call the Crosby Township regular Board of Trustees meeting to order for March 11th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman.
Here.
Mr. Hyab.
Here.
Mr. Heiss.
Here.
Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held February 12th, 2024.
I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Lohman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
In the off chance that there were no corrections, I did print out a final ahead of time, so you can sign that.
Okay.
Approval to pay the bills as have been presented over the past month.
So move.
I second it.
Roll call.
Lohman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
Correspondence, me. There's a Board of Health meeting today at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow there's a Hamilton County Board of Health District Advisory Council meeting, which is done yearly at noon, and I will be attending that.
That's called Advisory Council.
Board of Health District Advisory Council,
And you're going?
yes. There's a Great Miami Watershed. They need volunteers to do monthly water sampling of local streams that would go into the Miami. There's a website for the, or a woman to contact. I'll give it to you later. Then Harry and I went to the cemetery at Fernald, and he showed me where an indigent had been buried, I believe like in 2012. And he says there's like 6 to 8. They had that cemetery checked because there's a lot of unmarked graves there. And he says there's like 6 to 8 next to where this one is, where there's nothing, so that we could use that for future. He also got instructions on how you have to bury like someone's remains in ashes. So that'll be something he said he would show Mike or whatever. Because I think I know one person that we have to do. We'd had a question about electric rates being higher, which they are for everybody. We're still cheaper than Duke's rates, but I know it had gone up probably about 50% from what we were paying before. So we're still cheaper than Duke, but it's still higher than it was. Saturday, April 13th is the annual gathering celebrating 250 years of Shakers in America. It's going to be at the North Meeting House here at the Shaker Cemetery. They're going to have speakers there. And
What day is that?
the 13th.
And that's can you basically go through that again? I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. It's called the annual gathering for the Friends of Shakers.
And they're celebrating 200 years.
250 years. And it's
250.
from 9:30 to 4 p.m. There's a prescription drug take-back day is April 27th from 10 to 2 at Harrison Township Center. And then we had gotten a opioid lawsuit, Crosby Township, I guess that we can get money from it. And Alan had looked over it and made sure it was legitimate, and so I went online and registered it before it was the due date. That's all I have. Dennis?
Can I have just a second?
Sure.
Okay, I'm good.
All right. Got a notice from United Way Christina Scott, Digital Equity and Opportunity meeting. It's March 26th, 8 to 9:30 a.m. at Dinsmore and Shoal office at 255 East 5th Street,
Did you say
Cincinnati.
March or April?
March.
3/26?
Yep.
At Dinsmore and Shoal?
Yeah, down at their office. And that's pretty much everything that I've gotten because we all get the same stuff, so Doug hit a lot of it.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Chuck?
Yeah, I received a U.S. Department of Energy newsletter elements,
Department of Energy, is that what you said?
a U.S. Department of Energy
Yeah.
newsletter element. Notifying that they are going to control bones for Nord Preserve, out with a bone to weeds and bushes down. They didn't say when, but I guess it could be shortly. And the guy on Oxford Road, the Hamilton County Park, the Great Parks, they were also going to control bones of weeds and bushes.
Yeah, they always do that.
They do that every year in certain parts of it. So I think they do it every 2-3 years and rotate. So also got something from Energy Allowance. Well, I think Doug mentioned something about that. They said they save 35% lower than the Duke. Per household, they save like 27% and about $300 per household. This is for the year 2023.
Said 37%.
Yeah. This is for people that got Duke. They have a choice. They could sign up for with Energy Allowance and save some money. If you're with Butterwell Lucky, you can't do that. I'm with Butterwell Lucky, so. I also got a newsletter from Denise Dryhouse, the county commissioner newsletter. And they said they're going to add another $701,000 to the Hamilton County mortgage property tax and utility program, which brought it up to $1.4 million for homeowners. They can save up to 6 months on the past due amount. Let's see. I guess you look at the Hamilton County Commissioner website and get more information about that. So, but that is county-wide. So, also, the citizen water quality monitoring is happening again on Oxford Road. This is done by the UC Center for Field Studies. That was done.
For what studies?
UC Center Field Studies.
Field studies.
Yeah, they've been going out for years. They set that down, of course, in 2020 and 2021. So now it's the second Saturday, and the first one was last Saturday, and which is April 13th is the next one, and the second Saturday all the way through November the 9th, which would be the last one. They're going to do those in the wintertime, but that would be happening on the second Saturday. So if you'd like to volunteer for that, I did that a couple of years ago. It's very interesting. So, another thing, I got email from the Great Parks Corporate Connection. The newsletter was dated March 2024. They're looking for volunteers for Earth Day, which is April the 20th at Winton Woods Harbor at 9 o'clock in noon. And they got they got to clean up around the lake. So you got information at 10245 Winton Road. A phone number, if you're interested in looking into it, is area code 513-521-2345. You can volunteer for Earth Day, which is April 20th, or you can call that number and volunteer. They're always looking for volunteers, like planting trees and whatever. So that's all I have. So.
All right, thanks, Chuck. One thing I went over with that Great Miami Watershed with water sampling, it's done monthly, and I will say the email of the person to contact, it's Lisa, Lisa, .link, LINK, at riversun, SUN, limited.org.
I did that 3-4 years ago, and I could kind of sew up. They got collecting from like 9 to noon or whatever, and then from 12 to 1 they do lab work to test the water. So they're testing for half dozen different things, I guess. So.
All right, Sheriff, Lieutenant Stuckey.
All right, so for Crosby Township, February's report, we had 96 calls. We had 10 criminal reports, 5 non-criminal reports. 6 of those cases were assigned to our detectives. None were closed this month. We had 5 auto accidents and 1 OVI DUI arrest. And that's all I have for the month. Anything else? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Guest, Jolene Winter.
I got a copy of that I can put in the minutes.
So the reason why I'm coming to you guys, obviously, we've had 2 situations now with indigent cases. So let's back up last year. So there is a township.
Can you say who you are first and who you're with?
Sorry, Jolene Winter, Brader Winter Funeral Home.
Thank you.
How do you spell your name?
Jolene.
It's on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's all right.
I gotcha.
Winter, no S, we couldn't afford it. So the reason why I'm coming to you guys is last year in July of 2023, the state funding went away for any indigent reimbursement from the townships, cities, anybody. It has always been in the state funding for about $1 million, and they always used about 500,000 of it. I'm part of the Ohio Funeral Directors Board Association, and so we were the ones that went to tell them that they no longer had any funding. Because it's always been there. So the money went away. That means that the state law basically says anyone that does not have anybody that claims them or does not have the money that the township that they reside in. You guys have had 2 in the last 6 months. So I'm bringing this to you because there's a few things that I would like to make sure that you guys have written down, and I did this with Harrison Township too. I would like to see that you have something in writing that says we can give them back to family members if somebody wants them. Harrison Township says, absolutely, we don't want to have the responsibility of burying them, paying somebody to bury them, and put a marker on there, because they do have to be marked. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but as you, when we're doing these for cremation, Harrison Township basically has 1 lot. They have a marker on top of it, and we basically go out there, and we don't do it on a yearly basis. We do it like every 2 years. Of any indigents that they have, they'll go out there and they'll put their names on there. So they're making 1 trip versus 2 or 3 trips a year.
So that's like Jonas Memorial does that?
Yep. And they'll go out there, and they usually try to plan it whenever they're out that way. It's less cost overall because you have to put something there. Harrison Township basically has said, hey, you know, if a family wants them back, go ahead and give them back. I've had to use some ethics within that because there are some times that somebody did want them back, but they were not the legal next of kin.
Yeah, how does that work?
And so, but the legal next of kin was a minor. And so I basically listened to that guardian and said, bury them in the indigent cemetery. So that at least there was a marker there for that person in the future. Versus a boyfriend that, or fiance that didn't have anything, and we would probably get it back anyway. So, any questions for me?
Was there a second thing? I thought you said there was two things. One was the policy on that.
Basically, the policy on it, and it's just a matter of, pretty much just the policy from your standpoint and where we're going to bury them and who I need to contact.
Yeah, so we have a cemetery, it's our cemetery, so, and then, I guess, is there a certain distance they have to be spaced apart and everything, or?
No, in those, because we're burying them, you don't have to space them apart.
Because you said you just put one stone, so would that stone cover like a big area then?
So basically, there's a lot. A typical lot is 72 by 36, something like that. I don't know, somewhere around there. Casket's 30. A vault inside is 30 inches, so it's probably 32 inches wide. The length part of it doesn't really matter. So when we're doing cremation, it's really a small little box like this. You just want to dig down far enough that, basically we go down arm's length. That's how long you're.
So you can put them in that whole 72 by, they don't have to be in a row or
Nope.
anything. They could be just in front of the stone.
Yep. So you can
As long as you know
put
where
multiple
you gotta
ones,
know
you
where
just
you're
have to
putting
have
them.
it, yeah. And basically, that's what we did is on the marker for the cemetery, they basically have it listed so that they know, okay, we can fit 6 here, 6 here, and 6 here, and that's what we're gonna go. I hope we don't have that many, but, and just so you guys know, like, I'm trying to track down stuff. These are a liability not only for you, but also for me. Because if I don't get in touch with somebody, and the 48-hour window starts when I call them, not when the hospital does. Because I have to make sure that they're being contacted, and I've saved Harrison Township money because they weren't resident of Harrison Township. They said that they were, but it was Harrison Township, Indiana. So it was just very weird on that type of stuff. But so I don't know, if you guys have questions for me on that.
No, it's pretty clear cut.
My suggestion to you guys, if you guys do have a township, like head or division within the state, talk to them about implementing the fund reimbursement again. Because it will help, I know it's not that much, but it still helps a lot. Okay.
So how much does doing an indigent, how
cremation?
much does
Like
that
your
cost?
fees.
So I've been putting it at $1,200 just because it's not just, I have to do a lot more work on it.
Right.
It's not like somebody's coming to me and I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, I can just do this. Because I have to verify that all the family members, and sometimes, like, one, I found out that they actually had cemetery property someplace, and I was like, okay, well, that makes it a little bit easier. But then they wouldn't allow me to bury her there because I wasn't family. So it was just a lot of, then I had to get my attorney involved in it, and that's a cost to me, and
Yeah.
it's just a nightmare sometimes.
So in this situation, financially, if the state funding's gone and you don't get funded from the state, what do you do? Do you send us a bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And typically when I get the phone call, they've been in the morgue for 2 weeks.
So they're trying to find somebody.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Thank you. You can stay or go or whatever you want to do. Was that Todd Miller not here, you said?
No, he's not here tonight.
Okay.
He got sick.
And then Bob May.
I just have to go down behind and slip back this way.
I'm Bob May, RJM Consulting. We took bids on Thursday of last week and had 2 contractors put together pricing for the firehouse addition. One of the contractors was Alpha Construction and the other one's Grayball. I put together the documentation that clearly shows that Alpha was the low bidder. What was interesting about the spreadsheet that I put together for you is the pricing for the individual line items were pretty close. There was only 2 line items that were out of line. One was site work and one was GCs and fee. But it looked like both of the contractors had a similar scope of the work in place. My recommendation is to award Alpha Construction the contract. I've got the contracts ready to be signed if we've got time. If not, we can sign the document to award, which allows Alpha to start doing work, and then we can follow up with the signed contract and be ready to go.
I don't know how late you want to stay tonight for me to sign all that stuff, or I can meet you tomorrow morning.
Well, Matt needs to sign it, and you're gonna need to sign it.
Okay, so,
I got these 2 listed. And then after you sign it, then we can get Jason to sign it, because he's got to sign it. But we don't have to keep everybody here for a long period of time. I like what you're thinking. So if it's agreeable for you, I can give you these 2 documents.
resolution.
Hey, Bob, the one thing, you've given me a contract, but it's completely blank. There's not even the name Alpha on it.
Would, you
Is there
said-
one, is there one filled out with Alpha's name on it, but not signed?
That's what these are.
Okay, when they pass the resolution, it refers to Exhibit A as the contract that they're agreeing to enter into. I
Right.
just want to make sure one of those gets attached to the resolution that they're signing.
Yeah, this one, or I can sign that one and just put it.
Just give me an unsigned one before you sign it, to attach it to the resolution, and then they can sign the original.
I can sign that one that you got on your hand.
Well, the problem with that one is I don't see the name of the company unless you're going to fill in the blanks.
I'll just fill in the blank
Oh.
right now,
Okay. That's fine.
okay?
Yeah.
We can do that, and then I can give these to you, Dennis,
Yeah,
and Matt, you guys can finish them up later. And I'll get with Jason after you get these signed, and be ready to go tomorrow.
okay.
Tomorrow might be bad, because I've got that house closing at my mom's house.
Well, it depends on how late you want to, the meeting might not last that long tonight if you just want to hang around and see how it goes.
Well, yeah, we
And
can do
then if we get done in a decent time, we'll sit down and we can get it done. You don't have to come back.
that. Okay,
All right.
that's fine.
We need a resolution number.
I had a question. I know the contract is 738,000, I think. 39. And you have like 5 contingencies?
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
change orders that we will address as a separate line item,
Okay,
so that,
that's,
Yeah, microphone.
Yeah, and
microphone.
you want me to sign?
that's fine.
Yeah, just
My
talk
my
to-
question is, probably for Mr. Trends, is when we start doing these change orders, we exceed the $750,000 threshold for, I know we did bids, but then it becomes prevailing wage when we get over 750. Am I not correct with that, or?
I think it's 500.
Well, I know the law change.
Offhand, I don't know what the limit is, but 500 sounds right.
Yeah.
So, or,
Question?
so do we need to go prevailing wage even though it's design build?
Yeah, well, it'll still be prevailing wage.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's fine. I just don't, I want to make sure that that's,
yeah. And we've got, I think there's 5,
change orders.
well, there's 5 alternates that can be either, we can accept them, we can go and try to go to the county and not have to do some of them. You know, that, we've got pricing so that as we submit for the plans, and we don't have to put a mound system in, we don't, we use what we've got. The other one was the interceptor. If we don't need to put that in, if the plumbing department, as we do our addition, they look at it and say, hey, that's fine, we don't have to elect to take that.
I think Brian was just making sure we weren't doing something that tripped us over a threshold that,
You were already over a
and
threshold.
yeah, if we've already blown past it, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this, so we can move the meeting along? Why don't you fill out the blank spots so we know it's Alpha that we're signing a contract of? Then we can come back and you can pass the motion to approve the resolution. Okay?
Okay.
We'll give you a few minutes to do that.
So we'll come back to Bob. So public at large, if anybody wants to talk, just go up to the microphone. You want to talk? Just say who you are, where you live, and why you're here.
Good evening. My name is Daryl Tyus. I live in
How do you spell your last name?
Tyus.
Okay.
I live in a community of Fort Scott, Chapel Lane to be exact. Most recently, I've been living here for about 3 years, and in the process of me living there, I live in a cul-de-sac at the bottom of the hill, and it's always been parking on both sides of the street. And most recently, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, city maintenance guy Mike came over and put no parking signs down in the cul-de-sac, which I understand. Then he advised us that they were also putting no parking signs. The way I'm gonna describe it is on the right side of the street when you enter in our street. So there's no parking on the right side of the street, the entire side. It's roughly about 30 houses on our street, family of 4. And majority of the families of 4 have teenagers. They go to private schools, including myself. I got a teenage daughter that go to private schools. Other ones have young adults that work from home, not work from home, but have work cars. Like one of the guys work for Roto-Rooter and stuff like that. A couple other people work for the city and stuff like that. Long story short, the reason why I'm here is I understand the no parking in both sides of the cul-de-sac, but the no parking on one side of the street is you come down. And like I mentioned to him, if it was possible to do it like in a no snow emergency versus just no parking at all.
What do you think?
Originally, there was one no parking sign when you pulled on the chapel on the street. It's kind of hard to see unless you're looking for it. We just added 2 or 3 more signs down the road because it says no parking. And then if you went all the way down in the cul-de-sac, there used to be one in the cul-de-sac on the corner. So somebody took that sign. I can't tell you who did. So when I went through and I noticed that there was no sign there, we went ahead and put a couple extras. You know, called the 811, made sure that there was nothing underground. We put a couple extras, so it's obvious that you can't see it, or that you can see it. As far as the no parking or having parking on both sides of the street, I have no opinion on that. My biggest thing is during the snowstorms, I got to be able to get the trucks in there. And, you know, other than that, it's up to you guys and, of course, the emergency department.
Yeah, Chief Davis, do you have something to say on that, or Lieutenant Stuckey, or there?
I know there's a certain width of streets where we need, and you can have parking on both sides or no parking on one side. What that dimension is, what that width is, I can look into it and let you know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
The main thing is that during snow emergencies, they got to be able to have the road wide enough to get the snow plows down. If there's cars on both sides, that limits Mike trying to get down through there without hitting anybody. And then when it gets down to the cul-de-sac, we got to be able to use the entire circumference of the cul-de-sac to turn the trucks around.
I respect that.
Otherwise, he's got to be backing in driveways.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I said, let's change the signs instead of no parking, period, because there's no parking on one side of the street, period, to no parking during snow emergencies.
But then we got to worry about emergency vehicles getting down there in case somebody needs a squad run
I mean, so it's 52 weeks.
and a fire engine.
I respect that. And it's 52 weeks in a year, like tomorrow morning. Every morning between the hours of 3 and 4 in the morning, you're going to have a Rumpke truck that comes down. Sometimes he backs down. Nobody cars get hit when they're parked on both sides of the street. Then a couple hours after that, it's a recycling truck. They both come down.
Yeah.
So the trucks that I seen, I think you guys have a Chevy HD 2500.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so that's a smaller truck than what Rumpke drives.
Right.
And they don't hit any car on either side of the street.
Yeah, my trucks don't have a problem as long as I don't have plow on it, because I got an 8.5 foot plow. Once the plow's on there, I've only got 6 inches on each side of the truck.
And that's
where-
about the width of the
Yeah, and that, and I can't.
the Rumpke.
That's when we're plowing though, but yeah,
it still goes back to the snow emergency, what I was explaining.
Right, but
Well, that
his fire trucks and his ambulances are bigger than mine.
Correct, and they've been in my house twice and had no problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. It's up to you guys. I don't have a problem with it as long as there's no parking during snow emergency, you know. But as he said, there's actual rules about how wide a street has to be in order to be parked on both sides.
Well,
So we have to look into that too.
Yeah, let us research it. And then if we don't need, if we can allow parking on both sides of the road, well, then we'll, except for a snow emergency, I don't see a problem with it, but we're going to have to look and see what the rules are.
And the only
Because
other,
I don't know.
The only other problem we're going to have is every other street in Fort Scott is the same way. There's no parking on one side of the street, and it's usually the entrance. When you're entering the street, there's no parking on that side. Every single street has the same thing. So is that something we're going to have to change on every street then?
We'll look into it. And,
A lot of times there's not we get snow, but there's no snow emergency.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when the city of Cincinnati does like a level 1 or level 2 snow emergency,
Yeah.
you know,
But we still plow snow when there's no snow emergency, because if we get just a couple inches, they still have to plow. And there's not always a snow emergency when we get snow. Does that make sense?
I'm lost on that one. If there's no snow emergency, then
Well, sometimes we get a small snow where they still have to plow, and they don't declare a snow emergency. I mean, in February, we had like 2 inches, and I don't think there was a snow emergency, but streets were plowed. I mean, I'm just putting that idea out that.
We'll look into it, and the next board meeting, we'll try to have something to figure out.
it's good. So let me say this too, because the reason my concern is like I'm one of the houses in the cul-de-sac. So us 4 houses in each cul-de-sac, we park in the driveway. You know, I got a teenage daughter, I got a wife, you know, that works odd hours, get recalled in the middle of the night. You know, and then if all the other people, she's parking up the street and then have to walk, you know, or she'd call me at 4 in the morning to walk her to the car. Not a bad area, but it's just more so like we also got a daughter too. With spring, you know, time just went forward.
Sure.
Just to, you know what I mean, as a family ordinance situation.
Yeah.
To where it's dark down there.
Well, we'll look into it and see what we can do.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Anybody else? You look like you wanted to say something. No. Were you ready, Bob? Okay.
If you give me just a second, I'd like to confirm what resolution number we're on.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
We just need to
resolution number. You just have to sign.
He's checking that.
You just have to sign the resolution, and later on you can sign the contract.
So we need it, but we have to make a motion to.
Yeah, wait till.
Yeah, we need a number.
Thanks, Brian. It's just different when she knows her stuff.
Okay,
This is just,
all right, I'll get back with you.
but she actually knows this too.
If you don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you can split too. It's up to you. Well then, by all means, stay.
You thought there was gonna be food at the end, right?
Should I come back to the next meeting to find out, or?
You can if you want to. Otherwise,
It'll be on TV.
it'll be on TV.
It's on our website, Crosby's website.
I need to come more often, I ain't know nothing about this.
It's always the second
It's April the
Monday.
8th.
April the 8th?
April 8th. It's the second Tuesday. I mean, Monday.
Second Monday, April
Yep.
8th? Okay,
Second Monday.
all right, thank you.
Okay, see you.
Thanks.
Say Tuesday.
Because you want him to come the wrong day.
It's gonna last that long.
I believe we're on number 9.
Go, somebody's gotta make a motion.
Okay, I move. Yeah. I move that we adopt resolution number 9-2024
I
and
second,
awarding the building of the addition to the firehouse.
I
Is that
second
the
it.
Alpha or?
I second it.
Roll call.
Do we, Alan, do we need to have any part of that resolution including someone with authority to sign, or did we already take care of that at the beginning when we, like, engaged Bob and all that?
I think we did, I can't remember, but back when we started this process, didn't we?
Yeah,
Name
fine.
you, Dennis?
We did.
as
Right.
to
Just-
oversee this whole matter?
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Resolution,
Do we need a dollar amount? 738,500 or not?
Well, it's going to be with contingency, so. So we award the contract, I'll just put in Alpha Construction, Indiana Incorporated. In the amount of $738,500 with possible 5 contingencies.
so I'm just writing down, we've got a resolution awarding the contract to Alpha Construction in that amount with possible contingencies. Is there anything I missed?
That's just the construction contract, or is that everything?
You've got Alpha listed for it?
Yeah, I put it in the minutes.
Because he's the president.
Right.
Doug will sign the contract. Doug will take care of it. I mean, Dennis.
So we need a roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heis,
Yes.
that's resolution 092024.
Yes. All right, so now legal, Alan,
I have no report.
that was quick. Maintenance, Mike.
Been waiting to do that for a
I
few
know.
months.
He does that a lot.
Not lately, though.
Yeah, so Brian and I have been trying to get plates and titles situated for our trucks. And we come across a dilemma. I've been chasing my tail on this, and I'm hoping Alan can help us out. We bought this truck in 2012, and we never received a title for it. So therefore, I can't get plates for it. I've went to the BMV trying to get the title for it, like a lost title. I thought maybe we lost the title for it. They said there's never been a title on record. They said I had to go back to the dealership. So I drove to the dealership. I said, we're trying to get this title. They said, we sent the paperwork out, but after 7 years, we shred our stuff. So they don't have no record of it. So then I go back to the BMV with everything that they printed me at the dealership. The dealership says we have to get a court-ordered title.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the equity judge.
Okay.
So I got all the stuff here I can give to you before you leave, and if you can help us out, that would be awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Talk to me, Alan. I used to manage a little bit of that when I worked for the court when I was in law school. I've seen it done.
Yeah, they gave me a phone number. They said you can call. They said just keep hitting 0, because I guess it's a lot of stuff. But they gave me the phone number and everything. And, but
It's a similar process to what happens when mechanics have a car that they get the bad news about the transmission and then they just walk away from it, but they want to fix it and sell it. It's different in how they come upon the vehicle, but they still have to have a court order. They'll go to court. They got to get a court order to issue the title, and then once they see that court order, they'll print you out and they'll issue the title.
We don't have a problem with insurance, do we?
no, we're insured that I know of.
Okay. I mean, not having a title, I just worried about it.
Yeah, I've got records from Carfax stating all of our work on it. And
They probably just want the VIN.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Same
I
with
mean, it
insurance.
shows that
You
it's
don't
been in
look
our
That's
possession.
what I mean, insurance.
We bought it brand new in 2012. See, what happened was they send out something called an MCO or a certificate of origin. That's who they send. Like the dealership sends to the state because they didn't have a title for it yet. They already had the truck on hand. I guess we bought it before they got the title over to them. So then they send that MCO to the state. Somehow the paperwork got lost in between. So the title has never been, done. So that's what
Has
I've
it never
done.
had plates on it?
Yes, it's had plates on it.
Wasn't the right
I couldn't
place.
tell you what they were for. That was the reason. That was the whole reasoning why we got started on this title stuff, was because of the plates. I wanted to make sure all of our plates were legal, and this one here has plates from some other township, and they look like they're about 40 years old. So we only had one vehicle that had its actual plates on it out of the 4. So we had to go get plates for all these. Well, I can't even get plates for it because I don't have a title for it. So, like I said, I've been feeling like I've been chasing my tail this entire time.
Okay.
But that's as far as I
Get
can
some
get.
advice from Matt and take care of that.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Just order one from China,
Yeah.
like a fake ID or something.
Like they do at the dealership when they got the ones with the magnets when they do like a test drive.
So on to other stuff. So we got the new mower, of course, and I think I told you guys last month that we got the lift installed. Everything's great. We're ready to start mowing. We got all the mowers up to par. They're ready. We ordered a skid of tar, and it came in delivered. It's 75 boxes. Now, I don't know much about, this is a new animal for us, for me is blacktop, so we only bought one skid to see how far we can go with it. We're going to start tarring stuff as soon as the weather is decent and see how far one skid will take us.
Ceiling cracks.
Yeah, sealing the cracks, like, for instance, chipstone, all the decent ones. So that's ready. The forklift, the main pump was replaced. Cornerstone Equipment did a fantastic job on it. He got it done in under 4 hours, and it cost us half the price of what everybody else was quoting us. Unfortunately, now the forklift is leaking in one of the one of the secondary cylinders. So I called Cornerstone to get another estimate to see how much that's going to be. He said that should be a quick and easy job too. It's just replacing the seal. So we'll see. I'm waiting on that quote still. Just wanted to give you a heads up on where it's at. Let's see.
You can still use it though, right? It just leaks a little.
We just got to be very quick with it. It don't leak a lot, but if it's sitting there with pressure, it starts losing pressure and it's squirting it out, and it's running down the cylinder.
It's squirting.
So,
That's
yeah,
It's not
it's beyond leaking.
good for a forklift.
I had one replaced on my forklift. It's not that expensive.
yeah. He said it's just a seal kit is all
Yep.
it is. And he said he can get it done in just a couple hours. I talked to the guy that did the work the last time, so I'm hoping they can get that quote to me soon, and I'll let you guys know about that one. So I wanted to let you guys know some of the things that we've done. If you go down to Blue Rock and River Road, right where the bridge is, we cleared a whole bunch of brush in that intersection. That's where the park is, the big park. We cleared a whole bunch of it because people were complaining about not being able to see through there.
Yeah, you can't see.
Yeah, so and if anybody drives through there and they think more needs to be done, please let me know. We're more than happy to go out there and do it. And we also did it on.
Are you talking about for the people that are on the bridge coming into the township,
Yes,
looking to the
and
right?
the opposite way too.
Yeah, I got yelled at my wife the other day.
So if
the
you're
other day
coming
for that.
from Fort Scott down Blue Rock and you come to that intersection, you look left toward the park, you couldn't see down there because the way the road curves and all the brush. So even where on that side of the street, which is not our side, but there's an easement, we cleared out some of that there too. And then, but if you're on the bridge and you're coming and you look to the right, you couldn't see it all. You had to pull out into the intersection. So we cleared probably 15, 20 foot back into the woods from there. And we can clear more because that's our property.
What is it, honeysuckle in that?
Oh, it's everything.
Are
It's
you
a lot of
cutting it
honeys.
off, or
We cut it straight to the ground to where we can mow over top of it.
are you
now.
gonna mow it?
Yeah, we're gonna mow it.
All right, because otherwise you'd have to paint it or it'll grow right
I mean,
back.
it's our property, so.
I know, but I
yeah.
mean, either kill it or mow it.
Right, and we're just gonna keep continuous mowing. It's roughly about 3 mower widths. So we took care of it. But if we need more, we can go more because that's the only downfall is it's on a hill. So we have to be extra careful. Yeah, so we took care of that. And I was wondering, we've been talking about the crosswalk at Fort Scott. I was wondering if there's anybody that I can contact with Hamilton County.
I got it. I got it handled. It was coming up on old business.
Okay, good deal. The shelter, my guys are telling me that the gutters are still sagging and they're still leaking.
Well, I know they're still sagging, but they're still leaking.
That's what they said. I haven't been out there yet, though.
Because when I went out there and looked at it after, when it was raining, they weren't leaking at that time.
Okay.
So,
So are we gonna worry about the sagging part?
you know, I talked to the representative up at the OTA meeting, and he acted like they would look at it again and try to make it right. The thing is once when they pop riveted the sections of the gutter
Yeah.
together, in order to raise it to make it smooth, they're gonna tear it up.
Well, the only way to make it smooth is to put a seamless gutter. One solid shot of
Right.
gutter. And they took 2 pieces, and they actually
Why
left
didn't
a
they do
gap in
that?
between them.
Well, I guess it was shipped, that, that was part of the package that came with the building.
Yeah.
The other shelter has no gutters on it.
Okay.
So, and I never climbed up there to see how they're fastened.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to look at it and see how they're fastened, if you think you can take and raise them, because all you gotta do is put silicone over the joint.
Right.
And
If we pay all that money, why would I have to do the work then?
I know.
They should do
we-
it right the
That
first
should be-
time. I mean,
That's such a little shelter that a
Yeah,
gutter
it
should
shouldn't
not
have
be an
been a
issue
problem.
with that.
So,
okay, well, I'll look at it. The trees, Doug, you and I still need to go and take a walk too. And that's all I got for now. Has anybody got anything for me?
Yeah, if you could look at that cemetery sometime, the one on the left off of New Haven Road.
Going toward 128 there?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no fencing on a lot of it. It just had like farm fencing where there is fence, but
Yeah,
And along the road, there's a guardrail, so you probably could not need a fence there, but the whole
Front side.
backside, there's old stakes leaning over, but there's no fence, so maybe just getting some T-stakes and some, like the fence that's there, and just maybe try to,
Nothing fancy. Okay, we've
because
got
it
a
should
lot
have
of,
cemeteries are supposed to have a fence. The one across the street has a chain link fence around it, but this one doesn't have like anything.
okay, I'll look into it.
Just look at it, so,
Okay.
and then sometime I put a little flag where that Harry showed me, and we can talk about that later too.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and do that crosswalk since you hit on it. I talked to Jeff Newby from the Hamilton County Engineer's Office on the crosswalk. The crosswalk will be painted this summer, but if we want to put up the flashing lights, that's our baby.
Okay.
And he looked it up, and the last time somebody did that, it was an $11,000 project. And they are not required to stop, even though those lights are flashing, the automobiles are not required to stop.
In a crosswalk?
Even if
Yep.
there's people there, or?
That's what he told me. Well, once they're in the crosswalk, but he said if the lights are flashing, cars do not have to stop.
Always, the ones on New Haven flash a lot, and there's people there sometimes.
Yeah. So, but, you know, if you walk, he was telling me if the lights are flashing and you walk in front of a car, you know, you're gonna get creamed.
Yeah, pedestrians always have the right of way.
Yeah.
That's in, when you take your BMV test, you know, driver's test, pedestrians always have the right of way.
Well, he was kind of saying that, you know,
As long as they're in a crosswalk.
As long as they're in a crosswalk.
Yeah, if it's flashing and nobody's there, then you don't have to stop. It's just when there's.
so what we gotta do is figure if we wanted to go ahead with and put the flashing lights up.
I think we should because of all the traffic that's through there.
Well, I would think so too, because of the, so he gave me a couple of companies, so I can call them and maybe get a bid, or I can give the information to you, and you can call them. And, but they're called Rapid Beacon crosswalk signs, so they're Rapid Beacon.
Can I ask a financial related question to that? What part of that street are we talking about
Right
doing
on
the
Blue Rock
crosswalk?
Road.
I know it's on Blue Rock Road. I'm
The
saying
new
what
subdivision is.
Fort-
I know that as
for,
well.
The
But
new subdivision, it'll go, if you're standing at. the
where is
new-
it related to the crest of the hill?
It is
You're coming back
on the
down.
downside when it starts to come down. So it's right in front of Fort Scott Boulevard, right where their clubhouse is. That's the
Okay,
entrance.
so from a financial perspective, I would encourage the trustees to get counsel from its attorney on whether the benefits of installing the crosswalk at all are worth the risks, whether it be any kind of financial or liability risks or moral risks even with putting one in that spot, because I live right there. Those cars fly.
They don't go 45.
I'm not saying they're right for doing it, but especially when they come over the crest of that hill going eastbound on that road, the speed limit's 45.
Right.
So think about how long it takes to stop a car that's even going 45, which is legal, for that crosswalk, whether you've got flashing lights or not. You got some little kids visiting grandma. I understand the sentiment, but if this was in like a big city and this was a situation, it would be a pedestrian overpass right there. I mean, you don't see crosswalks that long on streets with legal mile per hours going that fast, because they drive functionally, real talk, they drive 60, even if it's 45. And it's just, that is a dangerous spot. I understand the sentiment, but from a financial perspective, I would advise you to seek counsel about the question of whether to do it in the first place, rather than skipping that and talking about whether or not to install, lights or,
The
other
county's
measures.
gonna do it without us prodding them. They were gonna go ahead and do it.
They're doing it? Okay.
Yeah.
But not with
They're
the
just
lights.
not putting the
But not the
lights
lights.
in.
I mean, are they installing it
Just
at,
painting it.
at your request or the family's
The
request?
family's request,
Okay.
the way I understood it.
Well, by Parks of Whitewater, where that is, that's 45 through there.
Yeah.
But it's flat at least, you can see it. I mean, I'll have to drive up there and see if you got a blind spot hitting that spot. Is that what you're saying? It's
Yeah, I mean, people come up.
a blind spot there, that could be dangerous
If you're coming from like Denier,
Yeah.
and you go up that hill and you crest the hill and you come down and you got all that momentum and then the momentum increases as you're going down the hill. I mean, I just.
You have to
it
see how
scares-
many
it
running
scares me.
feet you got that's flat to where you can
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
crosswalk. So we can look into it. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
But-
like, we don't have to do it.
no, but the county is going to paint the crosswalk, so. Okay, that's it.
Okay, fire, Chief Davis.
February run totals, we had 35 EMS details, 25 fire details, for a total of 60 details in February. The repairs from the deer strike to one of our medic units was completed in February. I want to thank Randy Lane Auto Body for their quick service and turnaround time. The 2004 fire engine received new rear tires. After calling another company for an estimate, that estimate was higher than the one I turned in last month. So Northgate Tire was able to replace and dispose the old tires for us.
Was that all four tires or was that just one side?
All four rear
Okay.
tires. Firefighter paramedic Danny Williams is on military leave. He was deployed overseas with the Air Force. I've communicated with Mr. Carter about paperwork and his return date. Return date should be sometime in October. After an extensive process of a written test, interviews, and physicals, I have the 3 names of the next career firefighter paramedics for Crosby Township. I'm asking for approval to hire the following personnel: Jeremy Burns, Terry Southard, and Maddie Montoya. I will be receiving their completed paperwork this week and be turning it over to the fiscal officer. Mr. Carter and I talked about starting them at the beginning of a pay period, not in the middle of one. So their start dates will begin the beginning of the pay period that starts on March 31st through April 13th. We'll have a swearing-in ceremony and a badge pinning ceremony at a later date, as soon as the Class A uniforms and the badges come in. Attached to this report, the 2 final invoices for work done on the new fire engine. The first invoice is from Atlantic, who is the service center for the Pierce fire engine that we purchased, for mounting tools and rescue tools to the compartments. And the second invoice is for Mr. Adler through Colerain Fire and EMS Fleet Maintenance, Fleet Services. Through Atlantic was $15,723.57, and Mr. Adler was $1,008.44.01. Both of those are attached to my report. We will be having a push-in ceremony for the new fire engine at Station 28 on Boffman Road on Tuesday, March 26th at 4:30 p.m. I'd like for the board members to be there for this, any township employees and any residents that would like to see the new fire engine and its equipment. It'll be a 10 to 20-minute little ceremony on why we do it. We'll have our department chaplain say a prayer, and then the men and women of Crosby Township will push the vehicle into the firehouse to officially put it into service.
I heard 326. What time was that?
4:30 p.m.
Thank you.
After it's pushed in, we'll have all the doors open so people can look at the fire apparatus, And if they have any questions, they can discuss them with the firefighters at that time. The last thing I have is I would like to call an executive session to finish discussing and finalize the career insurance and benefits that we talked about last month. I also had that information with me today.
So how much more work has to be done on the new fire engine? Does this pretty much wrap it up?
That should be it. We were able to install a few things that we knew that there were no wires behind or plumbing behind it. Everything else for the major heavier equipment, they knew exactly where the wires, where they could and could not go. All the equipment's on there. We're finishing up training right now, and once the new radios come in, they'll pull the old ones out and put the new ones in. But there is a radio in there right now, so it's just simply taking out the head and replacing it with a newer radio.
Do you know how much the total cost is with the fire, with everything,
This,
all the equipment on it?
that total right there was the only additional from what we agreed to back last year. We had, the initial number for the purchase of the engine was like $725,000. And then we had like 60 to 70 grand for equipment. And this was the only additional cost for the mounting of the equipment, brackets and,
Yeah, I know at time to keep adding different equipment, so,
no, that was already taken care of.
okay.
All right, so we need a motion to hire these 3 people.
Yes, please.
All right, I move that we approve the hiring of Jeremy Burns, Terry Southard, and Maddie Montoya.
I second it.
Roll call.
Just a second.
And Brian, you gotta have some work to do.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Brian, I'll have that to you on.
And I move that we
Tuesday or
approve
Wednesday.
paying these 2 bills for the new fire engine
17.
that was discussed from Atlantic Emergency Solutions and from the Coleraine Township Fleet Services.
I'll second it.
It's for 17,567.58.
Correct.
Yep,
17.5.
67.58 cents.
Is that together or?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's both of them added together.
Okay. Who, did we have a second on that? Did anybody second that
I
yet?
did.
Okay.
Roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Anything else for Jason? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Community Coordinator Brenda.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. First, I have the pleasure of introducing our newest staff member. This is Vivian Turner, and she is the new Assistant Community Coordinator, and I love it. And I thank all of you for making that possible. So, very, very good. I'm going to start with some March news, and then I'll go into the senior things. And I tried to make it short, but it ended up being a little longer than I expected. So just enjoy. First of all, to everyone out there, don't forget the primary election day is this coming Tuesday, March 19th, a week from tomorrow. The polls will be open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30, so come in and cast your ballot. A CPR class is scheduled for a one-night event on Monday, April 22nd. It's coming next month. It's going to be here at the community center, and our class will begin around 6:30, and it's taught by Crosby firefighter medic Stephanie Bittner. She's an awesome teacher. This will be, we had one last year. This is our second one. It's just something we decided we'd try to do about every 6 months. Now, the class is free to the public, so if you'd like to become certified, Stephanie can do that, but it's just a nominal fee of about $10. It's helpful if you call me at the office at 738-1440 and register, but walk-ins are always welcome. Next, I completed the Butler Rural Community Connections Grant a couple of weeks ago, and the board will be meeting there on Wednesday, March 13th, this Wednesday, to determine the award. So we've got our fingers crossed. The seniors are hoping to receive the membership fee for the creative aging and entertainment program that we have here at the center for them. I have a small change here. Community yoga classes are changing to Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and will be inside and also using the new shelter as weather permits. They actually tried the yoga outside on a nice day already, and they loved it. They're going to be their first choice if the weather's good. So that's a really added spot that we get to do more things. We're happy about that. Just an update, we have been having a lot of groups lately reserving the center, and it's all going quite well. Baseball season is getting started this month. There are teams reserved for Monday through Friday, and now we have one thinking about Saturday morning. So that's a busy place out there, and the coaches and teams are very happy to use our field. They think it's a beautiful place here. Just a note, Crosby Cafe Live Music is canceled for the month of March. And now for the Senior Club news. Well, we went to the Houston Woods Lodge on our trip recently. 15 people spent the night about a week ago, and it turned out to be quite the surprise. We ended up staying at the lodge with a filming crew and movie star Sylvester Stallone. All because Vivian's laughing over here. We were absolutely like, whoa, what's going on here? We did get a picture of him, but we didn't see him directly. It was passed on to us. But Vivian will tell you a little bit about just how we had a really good time. And once we arrived, this is the things that we kind of did.
Okay. It was really exciting with him there. And the helicopters that were used in the movies were there, and they were coming up and down. We didn't see him, but an employee got a picture, so everybody was excited about that. We got checked in, and then we had a naturalist come in and talk to us for a little over an hour, and he had all kinds of extinct creatures, like he had eagles and owls, and he had snakes. And the members that went with us, they loved it. He told all kinds of information, took questions. He was very patient with everybody. We did that. Then we went to dinner at 5:30. All of us met and went to dinner and had a great dinner. Everybody enjoyed it so much. Then we got back upstairs, and we got tables together in front of the fireplace and played cards until after midnight. Yes, us seniors played till after midnight. So it was so much fun. And then we got back to our rooms, met back in the dining room at 8:30 for breakfast, and everybody was just so happy about it. It's really exciting to see everybody's so happy about it.
Just having a good time.
Yes, it's really a good trip.
Thank you. Moving on for seniors, we had a total of 22 people that went to Izzy's restaurant for dinner with friends night out this past month, and there was a lot of laughter and good food there as well. Another note, Wii Bowling is going to start up again in April. We had to take a little break because of the flu season. Different people just kept catching the flu and having the other problems, so we just took a break, but we're coming back in April. An update for anyone, this is staff, seniors, or anyone in the community. The Harrison Library continues to supply the community center with shelves of books that can be checked out here from the center. Now, you don't need a library card, and you just come in and I'll help you with that to get started, but they'll come back again at the end of March and rotate a new stack in for us. They come about every 6 weeks, I guess. We, as seniors, are planning a solar eclipse party on Monday, April 8th, complete with the special glasses. We're going to do something special with treats on that day. We haven't decided yet, but we're going to probably be take chairs and be outside and just make a big circle out there in our green space somewhere, somehow. We are also thinking about going to schedule a date at the Shaker Houses. I like to take the seniors out, especially the new ones that have joined and haven't ever been there. And we usually have a very nice talk by the people who actually run the center out there. And they've even sang songs and done a lot of Shaker little dances and things. So it's really interesting. We had I was going to change to one other thing we're going to plan to do, excuse me. We're also going to go to Fernald's Visitor Center again. We went to their facility and had a picnic last summer, and a big storm came and struck the building by lightning, and the museum was shut down. So another time after a meeting, these are some things that we can do just to keep our meetings interesting, is just take some short little trips and do something special around Crosby Township. We are currently signing up now for dinner with friends, and this is going to be at Whiskey's Restaurant in Lawrenceburg, and we have 26 people on our list at the moment. Another day trip is the American Sign Museum, March 27th, and we have a Council on Aging van for that trip, and we'll probably leave in the morning and have lunch out before we get back. We are getting a lot of interest and excitement about the fact that we're going to take another adventure over to the world's only ventriloquist museum. It's in northern Kentucky, and I never realized it was the world's only. It's an amazing place. We've been there before, and we have a local family of the McElroys that are involved and have made some of these. There's a whole story to it. I think what one of our members, Fritzie Kuhlman, was saying was, I think we're going to try to go to the Harrison Museum, and then she's going to invite that family to come in and talk to us about what they do and their role with ventriloquism, and then we'll be able to take the trip to see them. So that should be fun. I'm real excited too, and so far over 30 some people that want to go to a Reds game. So the seniors. We haven't done that since I've been here, so I'm happy that we're going to go see the Cincinnati Reds Pirates game on June 26th, and we were able to get 2 Council on Aging vans, and that's free of charge, that will take us there to the door. Vivian did some work on that, and to research the Reds handicap program, I'm going to let her share with you what she found out.
Yeah, I got in touch with the Reds, and they were very helpful. They have police officers at the main door where we can pull right up to the door, walk right in the entrance. They have a handicap with just in a few feet. He said they would help us reserve these under roof in the shade if it's raining, so it won't be walking, no steps at all. So everybody's excited about that. We can offer it to wheelchairs, everybody. So it's really, really great, and they're real helpful with everything.
Sounds like those tickets are really good tickets too. They're way down front, and they're $32.50 a piece, which isn't a bad price given that we got our transportation for free. That's going to be a cool day for them. And there's a lot of excitement. A lot of seniors haven't been to a Reds game for a long time, so that's in June. But I wanted to let you know we're working that one pretty heavily, and we about got that thing solved. Lastly, within our group, we're going to start having monthly senior club board meetings. And we're going to create a couple of new committees as we continue to expand. So we're just growing a little and making it all work together. Oh, I'm not done yet. I just thought of that. Well, hold on. That's my printed part. Now here's the unprinted notes of a couple more things. Strickers Grove, I just want you to know the donor letters and flyers will be probably mailed out tomorrow. I've got them all set up and ready to go. So that's one. That's in process. The Township newsletter, we are working on it, so as that comes together, I'll keep you posted on that one. The last thing is that I spoke with Gage Bradford. He's the Community Specialist, Hamilton County Resource Recycling Program head now, and I just wanted to give you just the little quick snapshot of this. They're encouraging townships like ours and those that are in the recycling program and those that are not, because we are currently not in the program. However, they want to give, if I fill out the right paperwork here, which I think I can do here, anyway, a $5,000 check, and the check is going to be at the beginning of the program. And then what we will do with that is come up with strategies, creative ideas, and ways that we can encourage people to continue to recycle. And so he said, just be creative and think about how you could do that. And then he said he wanted a letter from the trustees acknowledging that you will be receiving that money. You don't have to spend the whole $5,000 in a year. It can just carry over. That's not a problem. You just have to keep receipts of that which you choose to buy to support what you want, what your ideas are. And I just mentioned, I was trying to think about some things while I was on the phone. I said, what about, I would think it would be encouraging for us to come up with a piece, a little bit of a story, whatever, in our newsletter. Would that be something that we could then use some of the funds for the publishing and the stamps and everything for that mailing? And he said yes. He said we're also trying to do something new this year, where any way that we can come up with an idea for people like farmers and produce, things like that. The Rumpke doesn't want it going back into their garbage, trash pile, whatever, in the mountain out there. So they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And he said, do you have anything that you can think of related to that? And I said, well, the one thing that we have here at the center is that there are some very generous, nice farmers who bring their things to us through the summer, that whenever they're in season, so they don't just rot in the field, which is what he's hoping won't happen, as he said. So anyway, what we're going to do with it is just try to think of ways. I don't think we'll get a refrigerator, but I'm just saying we have to just come up with reasons and ways to make things work. And if we can do that, then that's what we do with our money. And it just sits there, and if we don't use it, it's not going anywhere. No, there's no penalty for any of that. We just have to meet their criteria. That's the best I know from my conversation, and so I will get a letter and some ideas together, hopefully this week, so that you all can sign it, and then I can put it with the paperwork that needs to go in.
Okay.
So there you go.
Any questions for Brenda? You can breathe now.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's so cute. Well, I honestly didn't, if you'd seen my paper, I thought a sentence, bullet, because all of them have a story, but we tried to give you the best one, like Sylvester Stallone. I mean, really.
That is a big deal. All right, thank you. Fiscal Officer Matt?
Thank you. Brian, let me know if you feel like I missed anything, but first of all, the audit, I'm told, because I've talked with the supervisor involved a few different times recently, is apparently basically complete, but I thought I would have it in my hands by now. They have not sent it to us. I need to respond to it, and after I respond to it, I mean, it could be, I thought it was going to be last week, so as soon as I get it and I'm able to respond to it, you guys will have it in your mailbox. That being said, I hope it comes very, very soon. I want to let you guys know an opportunity just came up. I did not have this long-term plan. It came up in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to be going on a trip out of the country, and it's not going to interrupt any availability of mine for any of the trustee meetings. But if I don't get that audit and have the ability to respond to it, it's going to be delayed. I have an idea of what's going to be in it, and I hate to do it, but I may even draft something ahead of time that could be sent, but I'd kind of rather not.
When are you leaving?
I'm going to be leaving a week from today.
A week from today?
Yeah, in the evening. And then I'll be gone I'll return Saturday morning on the 30th, the day before Easter. I talked with Brian. Brian's going to be around generally. He doesn't have anything, special planned, so it means he'll be holding the fort down. Johnson Controls, we have got an invoice for them, and it's, above our typical threshold, so I'll need guidance from trustees on what to do with that. It's, I believe you were given a copy of it. It's for another repair, the amount of $1,752.98, and Brian did the math and basically took the taxes, off of it, because we're obviously I mean, at this point, we're just simply not going to pay it, the taxes. So they can figure that out. They haven't seemed to figure it out yet.
Do we have a salesman for them that we can contact or not?
And you got one as good as we do. I mean, we did, and he was going to come to another meeting, and
Those reps changed.
and we got ghosted by him too. So he talked a really helpful game, but you never saw him again.
Yep.
So do you guys want us to pay it?
Before you go there, when did he come again? I'm not aware of is that an old bill or what's the, since the last meeting?
Invoice, yeah, it was. It might. I don't think it's the same one, but because the invoice date is 2/8. Service request created 2/7.
That's the old one. Yeah, okay. I don't think that came again. I guess it just didn't get paid.
It would have been right around the.
It was right before our last meeting.
Yeah,
Is that when you knew about?
yeah,
Yeah, that we had that other one.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that. I don't know what they're doing with their billing, but I just thought it was like another one beyond that one that you were saying, another visit, but I don't think so.
We paid $700 on the first bill.
Right.
We got this bill.
Yeah,
I
there-
wonder what the $700 date was.
I mean, I can tell you that on this invoice, there's nothing related to $700 in there. It's $444 of material and $1,113 of labor. I mean, I'd be curious to know how much, time they were actually here doing it, but I simply I don't know.
No, they billed for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's about $350 an hour plus
They
a
make
truck
a-
charge.
they
for
make a
almost
pretty good rate.
$200.
But I mean, we're right back to the same
I know.
thing with these guys. So I mean,
Yeah, we're
When's our contract up?
like October, I think.
No, we probably ought to start shopping for another.
Yeah, I'm just talking to Chief Davis about what we can do. We may just get fire alarms or something, smoke detectors. That's what other ones do.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate.
Move that we
what
pay.
what we paid in the last year is probably way over five
Yeah.
grand. That's every year.
I move that we pay the Johnson Control bill for $1,752.98.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Lohman,
Yeah.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Let me write this amount down here.
Did everybody get the updated letter from the Ohio Auditor of State of the extra fees that they were charging for the audit? I got this in my,
Can you pass that to me real quick? Oh, it's paying them for the audit.
right, they increased some of the time spent.
Do you have anything else?
Well, first of all, does anybody have any issue with paying according to the amended engagement letter? I mean, they're the auditor, we have to get audited.
Right.
They're just,
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that.
let me write that down real quick. And then finally, we've got the, you also were given a copy of the invoice for Rumpke related to the cleanup days. So, I assume since the cleanup days were approved and scheduled that the invoice would be good to pay, but it's obviously a big amount.
Proposal.
Yeah.
We'll get the bill later.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's just for your information. I'll just note in the minutes that you guys were given the, I missed that word, thank you, Brian. That Rumpke proposal for cleanup days distributed. And that's all I have.
I had a question. Had you updated the credit cards in that?
No, I have not. I'll make a note to put that.
Because I think Harry,
On the
Mike
to-do
has
list.
Harry's, I think, and. And you're the only one that can do it,
Right.
probably.
Yeah, it took me about a 5-month process to be able to get to do it. So yeah, you're right.
In case you don't come back from your trip.
Yeah, I know.
You might go AWOL on us or something.
I doubt that. That's, anybody else have anything for me?
All right, thanks, Matt. Zoning, rec?
We issued 6 permits for homes last month and 1 permit to expand the parking at the Shaker House on Oxford Road. And that's all I have.
You hearing about that gas station that's supposed to go in, or?
I had a meeting with them less than a month ago, and they're proceeding with it. So it's a go, but you know.
They're
Not
not
going very fast.
They're not in a hurry.
But I mean, it's they're waiting on some permits, is what I was told.
Oh.
And anyway, it's still a go as far as what they told me.
Yeah, that's what you had said before. I just.
Well, they're not slowing down putting houses in up there.
Oh.
Sedona Reserve, so.
All right, thanks, Rick. Old business, I have none. Dennis?
Old business, we gotta do something with the street repaving. So everybody should have gotten, I got the wrong folder. Did everybody get a copy from Mike on the Rack Belair proposal? So the 3 streets up in New Baltimore that we were going to pave is Tool, Mesa, and Hacienda Lane. And Rack Belair was pointed out to me by the engineer's office as they'd done work on paving, so I went over and talked to them, and so you have before you their bid of $67,437.50. And Cincinnati Asphalt, who said they were going to get certification to do that, and I don't know if they did or didn't, but their bid was $74,101.94. We just go ahead, since we got 2 bids and Rack Belair is the cheapest bid, go ahead and award that.
Are we budgeted for that? Because that was not appropriated for this year.
I don't specifically recall, but I don't see a problem with a supplemental appropriation out of the gasoline tax fund to cover that cost.
The thing with the gasoline taxes, we never did get a bill from the county yet on
From
Fort Scott. Yeah,
Yeah.
Was there an estimate on that?
that was 200 and some thousand.
Yeah, it was about $250,000.
So where are
Yeah.
we on our gas money?
The funds for Fort Scott are certified, so whenever we get the bill, the money's already set aside. So
Yeah.
we can pay that.
Is that what's in the gasoline tax, or is it somewhere else?
It was a couple different places, I think. You put in a PO for that, right?
Right.
Yeah. It was one of those things where we used money from a couple of those, like the license.
Yeah, you got the motor vehicle license tax, you got the gasoline tax and the road and bridge fund.
Permissive motor vehicle tax.
I guess the thing is too, is what fund do we take the parking lot out of?
Well, that could, that probably ought, I would say that ought to be general fund.
Right, because it's not on the road.
Out of, site improvements, capital spending.
I got a question. Are we gonna do the walking path or not?
That's one thing.
I know we
Well,
talked about
that's
it.
going with that. That's what we got to discuss. I'd like to get this road business done first, Chuck.
Cause Cincinnati's figure about 10,000 you could
Right.
walk. So even if you have another 10,000, could the other bid still be less than Cincinnati? Cause that's 74,000. I don't even know if that include the walking path.
That's the road bid, Chuck. That doesn't have anything to do with the parking
That's
lot.
what I thought. So if you add 10,000 to that and 10,000 to the other one, it's still a difference. It'll be about the same. If you ever do the walking path. You see what I'm saying? These are comparable, but
Saying
someday when
I'm on the road, you're on the parking lot. We're in two different areas here.
right.
You got Bear's bid and you got Cincinnati Asphalt's bid.
Right.
I'm not on that. I'm on the Rack Belair bid for doing the roads up in New Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. They were talking about 300,000 different.
There's a difference of about $7,000. And Rack Belair has already done paving for the county, so I'm pretty sure they did the turnaround or turn a circle down there at the high school. That was one of their projects.
The roundabout.
Mm-hmm. It just,
But they want to keep having to add more blacktop.
yeah, well, whoever designed it didn't design it right. So, do we want to go ahead and start redoing some of the roads? My next thing would be is SCI was the company that comes out and looks at your road base and gives you recommendations on
Yeah.
what the surface.
Yeah, that was the thing that Chuck and I went to.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So, I would think that you ought to contact them and see what kind of recommendations and what they charge
Okay.
for their services so that we start on a revolving program on keeping the roads up. If we're gonna get them before they start deteriorating like these three roads did. So, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if the money's there, I mean, I'd go with that first one.
Rack Belair, that's what I would go with.
What I would,
But plus they're 14,000 cheaper or whatever, wasn't it?
7.
what I would say is, once you're finished with discussion, I would recommend, assuming we go to executive session at the chief's request, I would recommend that when we come back from executive session, we address that at a vote, because we may need a supplemental appropriation, which would require a resolution. And I can type that up and bring it here, and we can take care of that tonight. That's what you guys want to do.
Okay, well, that's what we have to do. I'd like to go ahead and get started on that road project because they're just falling apart.
Yeah. And actually kind of related that, I put the fiscal officer report that I had, it made its way to you. Could you sign that and pass that back down? Because then I'll use numbers off those reports for crafting a proposed resolution. Thank you.
Okay, and then the parking lot. Bear Parking, when he did his bid, he was just going to overlay. He was going to work on some of the major cracks out there, dig them out and put more base down, but then he was just gonna lay another 1.5 inches over top. And I just think it's raising our level up to where it won't mesh into our sidewalks and mainly along in front of the building here. And then the circle out there, if you look, if you add another 1.5 inches, it's just gonna be draining the water right in on it, on where the flags are at, our turnaround, our circle out there. I thought grinding it down and then putting it back in at the same level would probably be a little better bet. That's my opinion. If you guys, that's gonna cost us more money. But, you know, if they do that, which would be option 2, it'd be $61,705.69, and Bear came in at 45.1, and that's, neither one of those is including the walking path. So I was gonna address that as a separate item, unless you wanna, what are you guys' feeling on doing either one?
So like that Bear, he wouldn't even like grind it down, or he just, that's
No.
just not what he does? I mean, that's not his
That's not what he was
technique or
proposing.
whatever.
He was proposing just laying 1.5 inches down over top.
And that's doing everything from the road back, the whole parking lot, but
Yep.
of course not the maintenance.
Yeah, y'all have a, right here is option 2 map, just to refresh your memory.
How much did we budget for that? Do you remember? Do you remember?
Please?
How much did we budget for the parking lot? Because that was, I thought we didn't appropriate for that.
I can remember.
I thought we did, 'cause we talked about it last year.
Well,
We have 41,000 for improvements, site improvements.
yeah, we budgeted 50,000, we appropriated 50,000 for site improvements. So far, we've used almost 9,000 of that. I mean, it's out of the general fund. There's no issue with supplementing if need be. I mean, at the time, it was unknown which type of paving we were gonna do.
Do you have any thoughts, Chuck, on it?
No, I was,
I don't know a lot about
I-
blacktop. Do you don't either, Mike, do you?
Not really, but, I mean, the only part that I understand is the grinding part. You know, it is better to grind it down, start over from scratch instead of building it up like he's saying. But as far as any of the other parts, I don't, you know.
yeah, I can see Dennis' point that if you put it too high, you can solve one problem and end up with another problem.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
The other thing is that when they start to grind, if there's bad spots, you want them to repair it before they do the overlay.
They're gonna, the
Yeah.
bad spots are gonna grind down further.
Right, but I don't know if there's gonna be any more once they start to grind, you might find more spots. So the cost might go up, we might need a change order for that.
I don't
I'm
know.
saying,
I also
You know,
think.
anything's possible.
I also think they're charging us for hauling away the grindings. And Dennis and I have talked about using the grindings on another spot over here by the maintenance building. Maybe we can get a lower price that way since we got an offload spot on site.
I mean, you could even make a path driveway over by where you put the wood chips and stuff.
Right, we were
with
thinking
the-
about that, and
See,
I
we,
mean, and off of Wiley over there, making a,
yeah,
make it
there,
longer.
we've been talking about 2025 project, that about either paving or graveling over on the other side of the maintenance building, putting a, salt bin, salt silo, salt dome, something in 2025. So that would have to be gravel. We can take that gravel that they grind out here and use it for over there. Because we do need a path over to that other building too. It's pretty messy when you try to drive through there.
is that
So-
just dirt?
Dirt
There's no
and some,
path there at all?
no,
no,
it's just,
it's, I mean,
Like there
it's,
wasn't originally.
yeah, it's got like rocky clay. But, I mean,
Never
we
talked
might be
to
able to
them
get a
about
cheaper
that.
price is what I'm saying, you know, if we got an offload spot. I don't know. Be worth the ask.
yeah, then when they grind this out, you could use it to extend the driveway back off of Willie Road over there along the creek, which we
Where the
talked
wood
to
chips
first.
go.
This
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
this other project up here, we're gonna
Whichever,
have,
yeah, I mean, it don't matter. I mean, either way.
yeah, we're gonna have to save that for another day because that's a
Yeah.
bigger deal.
You could even store it, pile it over there or something if
Yeah, right. I mean,
Later.
you know,
Yeah.
anything's
doesn't
better.
go bad.
Right. I mean, both places need to be done, so. Yeah, it might be able to get a cheaper price, though, is my whole point on it, you know. Be worth the asking.
I'll make a motion to go with Cincinnati Asphalt. Was it 61,000?
No, 61.
Yeah, 61.
Is it 61 plus, or is it
Yeah,
like rounded up to?
$61,705.69
Up to
is my
62,000.
math.
Yeah.
Up to 62,000.
Yeah, up to 62,000.
To repave, grind out and repave the parking lot and driveway at the community center.
I'll second it.
Do they have a contract that needs to be signed,
They have,
or is it?
I would take and go down there and see them in person. And we have an agreement, but the agreement has everything added into it, so it's not technically right. So I would go down and get another contract so that everything was correct. And then if you want to add on the walking path rehab on that,
How much was that? Did you
that
say it
was,
10?
About the 10,630.
Is that a special price because they're doing it together, or is that just done separately?
they priced it together, so I don't know if they would come back
I
and
mean, is
do
it
it.
walking, I know there's some bad spots in it, but is it that bad that the whole thing needs to be?
You know, it's just depends on how extravagant you want it. I would almost take and just put it off for another day and
I
spend,
would. I mean, I walk on it and I don't,
Me and the guys can probably fix that sinkhole.
you just dig it out and,
Put some some gravel and some concrete.
I would leave the walking path for another day, be my
because they can
opinion.
fill the cracks in it or whatever.
Yeah,
It would probably put in sometime 2008, maybe 2009, that walking path,
I don't know when I
or
was
maybe
put in.
before that.
Were you here, were you work on,
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while. As far as I know, nothing ever been done with it. So,
All right, so we got a motion, and it's been seconded.
yeah, roll call.
Who seconded it?
Dennis?
I
Dennis
did.
did. Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes,
Heiss,
yes.
Do you have any more old business? Hopefully not.
I don't have anything else.
Chuck?
No.
New business, I have none.
I have none.
Dennis? Chuck?
None.
Other concerns? I did have someone complain again about, on Fort Scott, about, like, off-road like golf carts and stuff again. They asked if we could put a sign up, like at the entrance or something. Is that something you can do, or like along the side of the road, like no unauthorized? But I don't know how much good that would do either. I mean, what are communities doing
They're
about that?
unlicensed vehicles.
Yeah, I see that on like a walking path, but
Because I know that people have called, of course, by the time the police get there, they're done. So there's really no simple solution. Kind of watching it.
Yeah, there's some sheriff officers that live up there.
Probably especially when school's not on, because like
Probably them.
weekends and stuff would probably be worse, I would guess, and probably summer. All right, that's all I have.
I move we go into executive session.
Second.
Purpose of?
Oh,
Purpose of the discuss the fire chief's concerns with personnel.
I second. So roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heist.
yes.
Can we mark that as 8:45? Mr. Chairman, do you want me in?
I move that we come out of executive session.
I second it. Roll call.
Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Let me get a time here. We got 9:13. Does that sound good to you, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. So I make a motion to accept the career firefighter benefits with changes as were presented by Chief Davis.
I second it.
Is there going to be like a written version of that I can put in the minutes or anything? Or
I can give you mine for right now,
okay.
Yeah, there's some changes on it.
and then he's going to reprint them.
And whose motion is that?
I made the motion and Dennis,
I second
Chuck
it.
seconded it. And roll call.
You can just make like a photocopy of that, Dennis, so you can keep your copy at the end. I just need to put it on the minutes since it references it. Lohman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
Our next regular business
Wait a
meeting.
minute.
Hold on,
We
you
got-
got more.
Oh,
you got,
you're
you got
right.
more business.
Sorry.
So
Getting anxious.
when it comes to any authority you may need to sign, I'm considering that just simply a different motion. If you guys feel like you need to have that, the resolution is purely for the supplementing of permanent appropriations, because you never need a resolution
Right.
really. I mean, maybe on major projects with like, I don't know, the buildings and stuff like that, we've done it where we make it part of a resolution. But I've, based upon previous discussion in the meeting, I prepared resolution 102024, and it reads, trustee blank made a motion to adopt resolution 102024, amending the permanent appropriations for 2024 to reflect an increase in appropriation for funds 1,760,730. That is the improvement of sites fund within the general. That's the improvement of sites account in the general fund, increasing that by $30,000 to $80,000, which would cover what is needed to cover the contract of the parking lot by the community center. And then two other funds, 2231760790. And that is, I want to make sure I say this right. It's the capital outlay fund, or the capital outlay account code for the permissive motor vehicle license tax. So on that one, that's one of those accounts where we had piled up a ton of money over time. A lot of that money, currently 117,000 of that money is currently encumbered in a purchase order that will pay for the Fort Scott paving,
Okay.
in part. But there's a remaining approximately $47,000 still in there. So the proposed resolution designates 45,000 of that to be appropriated for the purpose of the repaving of Tule Hacienda and Mesa.
Okay.
Also, 2021760790 capital outlay. That's from the gasoline tax fund, and the capital outlay account code in the gasoline tax fund, increasing that by $30,000 to $30,000. So neither of those last two accounts had appropriations from them at the beginning of the year, and those would be noted.
So is this one resolution?
It's one resolution with
both
3 bullet
for
points
both
that takes care of
projects?
all that. That way we can communicate it to, the auditor actually just gave us our oh man, it's late. The amended certificate for our appropriations. So now we'll be going back and getting another one. So at least there's just one resolution for them to
Okay.
deal with. So if anybody wants to make a motion for that, I will note it.
So move.
Second. Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
There's the original. And then I'm looking to see, I think you need to take action.
On the Rack Belair bid.
Yes. And what I did on the last one was, I did a motion to accept, the proposed bid up to a certain amount. That's what I noted on on the parking lot one. So, I'll do it at the end under other concerns, and if there's a motion to accept Rack Belair for street paving.
So moved.
I've got a
Not to exceed $68,000. The bid was $67,437.50.
I'll second it.
That was not to exceed 68,000, right?
Yep.
Second by Loman.
Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
So do we need a motion then for me to sign for the?
Would you like to include in your motion, Mr. Hyab, authorization for Mr. Loman to sign contracts on that job?
On the Rack Belair?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I think we got the record straight on my front.
Is there any other concerns?
No, I guess you can give those guys a call and tell them they got the contract. You want me to call them and tell them they
You
got
can
the
tell 'em.
contract, and then they can,
Give them my contact or my cell
yeah,
number or
and
whatever.
then they can draw up a contract that they'll want signed. Because this is just a bid. All right. Move we adjourn.
Our next regular business meeting will be April 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. I have a motion from Dennis.
I can second it.
Chuck seconded. So roll call to adjourn.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heiss.
Yes.
9:21.
Now, we got to sign